Saturn in Pisces, can your dreams become a reality? So dreams becoming a reality, right? Through Jupiter, because Pisces is lorded by Jupiter. This is the planet of our lifestyle, our contentment, our conviction, our belief system. For the last 5 years, so since 2020, Saturn's been in its own signs. And Saturn is all about cause and effect, reality, consequences. Since it's the furthest planet away from us that's visible, you know, obviously we have Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, but you know, the one that we can see in the sky, it's the furthest planet. It has a lot to do with our reality. So being in its own signs, it's shifted reality a little bit because it's making us aware of these higher powers that are working behind the scenes. It's making everyone kind of just kind of face the truth of that, you know, we aren't really in control of much. Okay, Saturn in Capricorn, we had that pandemic, you know, Pluto was involved with that pandemic because Pluto was involved because Saturn and Jupiter both moved into Capricorn and joined with Pluto. Pluto is associated with the 3 outer planets that have to do with higher gods and their effect on us. So, you know, we had to serve our karma with that. Pluto destroyed what we thought we had control of, made us have a tower moment in our reality, people getting sick. Saturn and Capricorn, we don't have control over everything, so this is the lesson. So we have to participate and be focused and serve where we can. Voting is important, having community is important, having strong governments are important because that's gonna, you know, help and dictate the greater good of humanity. So Saturn's been in Aquarius since 2022 through 2025. We're seeing this rise in AI, rise in crypto. We're feeling the effects of everyone being kind of hyper independent and how everyone is kind of pretty much the same. We're starting to get bored. We're starting to get, you know, we're realizing, oh, we're seeing the same things over and over again. There's nothing new, there's nothing different, but guess what? You're different. It's just you're waiting to awaken. And then it's been harder to create community, but people are realizing how much community is important. Aquarius is a sign of community, networks. It's been hard to network and form community because Shani, Saturn, has been there. So in order to create this community, you would have to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, focus, devotion. And there might still be a little bit of distance because people aren't so trusting, because the pandemic did have a psychological effect on us as a whole. And so we're seeing that. And then even in romance, dating, it's been a little bit hard. We're not connecting to other people because Aquarius has to do with connection. Feeling like you're in this, you're with the people that have that same kind of belief or interest that you do. That's Aquarius. Through this transit, we're learning about who and how we associate with people and how it affects our power. You know, seeing what kind of happens with this election and the billionaires associating with the billionaires, and it seems kind of cult-like. That's Shani and Aquarius. 4B movement increasing. Dating in shambles, lack of connection. Oh God, because you know Saturn's aspecting Leo. Leo's the sign of romance right there, that 7th aspect. In order to, that 7th aspect requires you to lock in on those themes, but no one's locking in because people aren't meeting each other where they need to be because it requires a lot of hard work. It's not as easy flowing and natural as it usually will be. So TikTok was threatened to be banned multiple times while Shani was in Aquarius. And so that's a big thing, like trying to control or restrict media, making it harder for people to connect, right? So the last 5 years have been a trip. We've been collectively being able to really see how powerless we are in certain fields, but how powerful we are in other ways. How information can be shared like wildfire through the internet. How that can be healing, how we can connect, how we can join forces and make change together as a society. But it requires work, it requires humility, it requires servitude. And that's what Saturn's all about. So wherever Saturn transits, you need to have that humble approach in that area. You need to sacrifice a little bit, restrict yourself so that you can get the best benefit of it all. Because community, one of the big things that's been coming up and everyone's realizing is that community isn't easy. You have to sacrifice your independence to make community. You can't be in community and expect your routine to be all in order. The price of having community is being willing to sacrifice some of your personal needs for the needs of the group. You can't be like, oh, I'm not going to so-and-so's birthday party because, you know, I gotta work tomorrow. No, you sacrifice that time because you love and care about that person and you want to build that bond. So we're realizing the work that it actually takes to maintain community. You have to text those people back. You have to connect. You have to sacrifice your own personal wants and desires to actually make something stick. That's what Shani and Aquarius is teaching us. How to glue together. Saturn's like a glue. So now Saturn's moving into Pisces. Yes, 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 yes. The next 2.5 years, we're going to have this theme of Pisces energy. The last time Saturn was in Pisces was 1996 through 1998. And Saturn was in Pisces, lorded by Jupiter in Sagittarius, the sign of adventure. So we had US President Bill Clinton signs the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban, a treaty at the United Nations. We had the first genetically modified food sold in the UK. 8 climbers die on a trip to Mount Everest, 1996 in May. The first successfully cloned mammal happened in July. Flight had a mid-air explosion. Tupac Shakur died in September. Shannon Lucid went on a 6-month space journey but came back safely. 1997, Saturn was in Pisces, lorded by Jupiter in Capricorn, creating this Parivartan Yoga. Biggie Smalls is killed. Heaven's Gate cult members are dead. Andrew Cunanan begins this killing spree starting in April, okay? He kills his friend, and through July 15th, he kills Gianni Versace, head of Versace House, a top fashion brand, luxury brand. Pathfinder lands on Mars. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is released. The first book is released June 26th of 1997. Princess Diana also passes away. Titanic, the movie, premieres in December. Big romance movie. Became one of the top movies of all time. And then Saturn moves into Aries 1998 in April. And so before that, 1966 through 1969, that was the last time Saturn was in Pisces. So Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, what does this mean for us currently? Astrology is simply just observing the patterns in history. There's always going to be calamity. Doesn't matter what sign is in what sign. There's always going to be innovation and progression, right? Negative and positive things will always be occurring. What you choose to focus on, that will be your guide. Focus on the negative, then you're going to be bringing those things closer to you. Focusing on the positive, you're going to be bringing those things closer to you. It's all about, life is all about what kind of frequency you're on, where are you focusing your energy. Saturn is the lord of time, so he will show the direct themes of the times through whatever sign he transits. Saturn takes about 28 to 30 years to transit the zodiac, the entire zodiac. So now he's going through the final sign, Pisces. So let's dive into looking at the Saturn and Pisces transit and what it means for everybody. And we'll go through all the signs as well. So let's get out the whiteboard. Okay, so we have Saturn in Pisces. I don't know if this is gonna focus right, but we'll try. Saturn in Pisces, right? You like my little drawing? Saturn's going to be in Pisces from March 29th of 2025 till February 23rd of 2028. It's gonna retrograde and move forward and all those things as it usually does. And it's gonna be ruled by Jupiter. Like I said, the last 5 years, Saturn has been ruled by its own self. So things have been a little bit slow. It's been a little bit harder for things to progress. It feels like we're in this limbo. But now it's being ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter moves through signs pretty quickly. Moves through once a year, approximately, per sign. And so Jupiter is gonna be in Gemini from May 14th to October 18th. And it's gonna dip into Cancer from October 18th to December 5th, and it's gonna retrograde in November. See how quick that is? Floop, flies right through. Then it's gonna retrograde and it's gonna enter back into Gemini on the 5th of December. So what is Jupiter? Jupiter is the planet, like I said, of expansion, of optimism. They always say, like, if you have that belief in yourself, if you have that conviction in yourself, you can attract these opportunities because you have this strong aura, this positivity, this faith that your life is going to go a certain way because you live a certain way. right? Because it's all about lifestyle. Jupiter is associated with religions. You see how ritualistic religions are? They're living a certain lifestyle. They all come together and they're doing the same things. They're having communion. They're doing Ramadan. They're, you know, doing Hanukkah. They're doing whatever. Okay, that's Jupiter. And they're all feeding into that energy. They're all feeding into that belief. So Saturn, Lord of cause and effects, consequences, karma, time, servitude. This is really a big one for this Pisces energy. Pisces has to do with selflessness, sacrifice, loss, the dream realm, having no boundaries, imagination, and isolation. So the reason why I say that your dreams can become a reality is because the dream realm, Pisces, everything that's just out there, like no one really understands it because God is giving it to you specifically. Saturn's going to come here and with hard work and servitude, those dreams can become reality, because that's what Saturn does in whatever sign it is. It creates form. Look at these rings. It creates form. So if we think about cause and effect, right? If I choose to drink water today, that's going to hydrate me. If I don't, then I'm going to be dehydrated. That's the effect, right? Whatever choice you make, you can't undo it. You can't undo it. You have to figure out a different way, right? So Saturn requires you to focus, spend your time, serve, go without, learn that sacrifice. I don't know if you guys saw my short on Venus and sacrifice, Venus exalts in Pisces. And be isolated so that you can receive these blessings, the blessings of Jupiter. So Jupiter doesn't really like being in Gemini. It's opposite from its home sign, but it's still a benefic. So if you're someone who likes to communicate, be on the internet, talk a lot, explain things, have Gemini energy, it's going to be good for you. Be very expressive. That's what Gemini energy is good for. But it's, you know, Jupiter's all bigger picture. Gemini's ruled by Mercury. So then it's like details. So big pictures are meeting the details. If you can have some details for yourself, this Saturn, for this year, this Saturn and Pisces transit can be really well for you. Especially now, we're going to start to see some real things shift. The thing about Pisces, right? It has to do with foreign lands, isolations, going far distance travel. That's Pisces, far away. Anything far, foreign from you, you don't even have a clue or perception of it because it's that far away from you. So Saturn, once being lorded by Jupiter, once Jupiter enters Cancer, people are going to be wanting to move to different countries away, or moving house, or just expanding their horizons and going different places, because Jupiter in Cancer is exalted, right? So Cancer has to do with the home, right? So if you've been feeling in your soul, like, I really need to live abroad, I don't think I'm going to stay where I'm at right now, this can happen for you. You're going to find a way. The download will come through God, right? The dream realm, your imagination, and it's going to happen for you. What else do I have to share here? People who are born 1996, 1998, you're having your first Saturn return. Second Saturn return is for the 1966ers to the 1969ers. You have to look at your horoscope because of the retrograde. Sometimes you might have a retrograde Saturn in... What's before Pisces? Saturn in Aquarius, depending on those dates. So let me get back to my notes. So Pisces also has to do with foreign concepts. So rise in spirituality, rise in people taking their spiritual practices more seriously. Saturn, it's really been a blessing seeing people awaken to astrology and foreign concepts, because it's like making them realize, like, we're all part of this higher consciousness, this higher wave. We're all connected. We're all really just living within each other, but we just are our own beings, but we're all connected at the same time. So all of us matter and are contributing to this world and this reality. So since Pisces is escapism, anything that alters reality, drugs, alcohol, those things, very Pisces, that take you out of your mind and somewhere else. Since Saturn's going to be coming there and restricting that. So if you are around people or you're doing those things are going to have 10 times more effect, cause and effect, than they normally would. A lot of people might be getting serious about sobriety, healing, spiritual healing, and just their wellness in general, because it's going to be aspecting Virgo. So their habits, any routines that they have, they might be getting really serious about those things. So, but you can see that people won't, right? Because they're not into astrology or spirituality or self-improvement at all, that these things will have more consequences. I'm talking DUIs. I'm talking people just randomly up and murdering people. Like you saw Andrew Cunanan just up and doing his thing. Side note, everybody side note, he had Botany, Moon, and Saturn in the first house. And Luigi Mangione also has Botany influence. So it's not just, it all depends on your karmas and what you're here to do in this life. But I'm just pointing that out. That's very interesting. They both murdered. Aries has a lot to do with murder, Aries energy. Whenever I see like news of someone getting kidnapped or murdered, or like someone having a fatal DUI or something like that, there's like a bunch of Pisces energy in the sky. I'm like, yeah, because those things are heightened. All of it is extremely sensitive. So it's good to just avoid those things. I'm not saying cut it out completely. I'm just saying avoid it, have limits. Don't let yourself get too far over the edge, because you're gonna be more susceptible to consequence at this time. For this whole transit, it's asking you to like wake up, because the thing about Saturn being in Pisces is that it doesn't like being in Jupiter's sign, because we can tend to overdo it. And that's really what can happen, is we can Jupiter is all about excess. We can overdo it, overcommit, over drink, overdo whatever. So it's be careful to have that awareness. That's why being self-aware with Pisces energy is paramount. Being self-aware, bringing everything back to you, understanding your triggers, going into therapy, trying to do your healing, learning to be alone and not lonely, but relying on God and your faith, because faith is what's going to get you through. Because awareness is our ability to pinpoint the reason for something occurring. Pinpoint the reason. So if you're acting in this way, you're behaving this way, you keep repeating the same pattern, you keep getting the same result from somewhere, you're like, okay, this, I know where this is coming from. This is because I had this, and this, or I'm like this, and that. And you're able to pinpoint it and figure it out and heal it and kind of breeze through it. And medicine, pharmaceuticals are gonna go through a huge change as well. More supplements, more people drinking chlorophyll, eating vegetables, caring about their fiber, not relying so much on the capitalistic way of pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. Doing alternative medicine to just find their healing. And ridding yourself of something, ridding yourself of toxins. That's gonna be a huge theme for this Pisces energy. If you can adapt the higher qualities of Pisces and Saturn and do the hard work and go without and sacrifice, you will be fine during this transit. But if you can't be serious and lock in with these themes of having divine grace, humility, learning to be a servant, learning to have that love for yourself and compassion for other people, then you're not, okay? Saturn's gonna bring reality. You're gonna end up losing your attachments to escapism and actually making your dreams a reality. You know, have you ever heard of those people that are like, oh, I got my dreams because I was fasting, I was sober, I was celibate, I went without for a little bit? That's exactly what this transit is. And Saturn in Pisces has a lot to do with the celebrity. People famous, because 12th house Pisces energy has to do with people isolated from us. Like we look at them, it's like, are you even real? Is the Grammys real? Are these real people out here that are so filthy rich that they just, you know, they have this aura about them, that they have people praising them and giving them energy every day and listening to their music and listening to what they've created? You know, that's Pisces. Pisces is the exaltation place of Venus, where art, fashion, anything grand, luxurious that separates you from the rest of the people, that's where that lives. And wealth and being super famous or a billionaire. So Saturn in Pisces is going to bring a lot of just news regarding celebrity, Hollywood, what's really going on in Hollywood, what kind of demonic and scary things are happening underneath there. It's all going to start to come out. Why? Because Ketu. Remember, Saturn in Pisces is happening, but this is a different Saturn in Pisces because there's different transits happening at the same time. Jupiter is not in Sagittarius like it was. It's in Gemini. It's in the opposite sign. And Rahu's not in Virgo. Rahu is going to be in Aquarius, where it likes to be. Aquarius has to do with the people, right? So it's like Rahu and Shani are going like this, and they're going to pass each other, but they're still going to be associating with each other very well. And Ketu, the south node, the headless one, the magician, the one to reveal, the one to shift, to upgrade, to catch, is going to be in Leo, the sign of the kings. So that also has to do with celebrities or people in a lot of power, leaders. Okay, celebrity, the glitz and glam of celebrity is in that like isolated place where there's only their clubs and they're like so far away you can't really touch them. That's that Pisces. And like the cinema and like films, all that stuff, Hollywood itself, that's Pisces. Leo is the leaders, government leaders. Also, you know, it's still celebrities because you look up to them. So Ketu in Leo, when that happens, starts in May, middle of May. It's going to start to bring truth to these people and how they keep their standard. What they're really showing isn't really who they are. They're going to be exposed for what they are. And in conjunction with Saturn and Pisces happening at the same time, no one can hide. No one can hide. And that's why falling into your personal path, not falling for the illusion. Your favorite person might end up being the worst person in the world. You never really know. Pour into yourself. Heal yourself. Follow your hobbies. Be the leader of your life. And that's why romance and everything is also going to be changed, the dynamic to romance as well, because Ketu is going to be in Leo. Anyway, I'm going to make a separate video on that. I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But yeah, Hollywood is going to be changing a lot. Pisces, Jupiter, lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle are you going to live? Are you going to escape and you rely on other things to take you somewhere and then end up bitter and out of your mind and lose your mind? Or are you going to face reality and make your dreams a reality through the servitude? So this is the thing about Saturn. This is the key point. Saturn is a servant. Give yourself the work to do or he will give it for you. Saturn is the servant. Give yourself the work to do or he will give it for you. It's like working a job. You don't look busy. Oh, here comes your boss giving you something to do. Now you're forced to do this. But if you're busy, you're doing something, you're taking initiative, you're taking control of your life, this is the planet of locking in. Saturn is the planet of locking in, okay? For a long time. Because you can't just lock in for one day. You gotta lock in for a long period of time to get that result. So if you can lock in for these next 3 years, you'll be good. For your dreams, at least. Your dreams into reality. Because Saturn signs, okay? So Sun is the truth. Sun is Leo. Is the Lord of Leo, and Leo opposes Aquarius, which is Saturn's sign. So the rings of Saturn locking in. So that 7th aspect of Saturn is where you have to lock in. The 3rd and 10th aspect of Saturn is where you will grow from locking in. This is where you're gonna grow. You're gonna see things grow and start to establish. The veins and the trees and the vines are all gonna start to come out, and sprouts are gonna start to come to those 3rd and 10th house aspects. So, because Saturn doesn't have just the 4th, it's in Vedic astrology, Saturn has 3rd aspect and 10th aspect and also 7th aspect. So that 3rd and 10th aspect is all about growth, growing, because those are upachaya bhavas. They're just gonna grow, but through that locking in. That 10th aspect is gonna grow and give you your karma, your responsibilities, what you're gonna be, what your karma is, with the stuff that you have to pay, you have to give, to serve. That 3rd aspect, what you're gonna learn, the courage you need to have to bring that up. The house that Saturn's actually occupying is the location of the service, right? Where that service is gonna be. Where it's Vayu Tattva. Saturn is Vayu Tattva, which is air element. So this is where a lot of your mental focus is going to be. Wherever that place Saturn is, you're gonna feel like you're stuck there, like things aren't moving, like you have a lot of obligation in whatever house it is. So let's go through each sign. Check your moon first, your lagna or your ascendant, your sun, and as well as whatever dasha you're running, that planet, that's your dasha lord, aka, check that planet. If you're running Jupiter dasha and your Jupiter is in Cancer, check Cancer astrology, what I'm about to say. Check Cancer, okay? If you're running Mars dasha and your Mars is in Sagittarius, check Sagittarius as well. So yeah, let's get into all the signs. Let me drink some water. Let's start with Pisces ascendant. Pisces, this is going to be happening in your 1st house of identity, self, your life path, your body, who you are. All right, this big planet is coming in here, and now you can't be as happy-go-lucky. Optimism, faith is going to be just leading the way. No, You're gonna have to be very serious, very practical, and you have to show up and sacrifice yourself and what you thought you could do. You're gonna have to do, it's gonna be a complete 180 for you in your life, which is gonna be good. You're gonna be, you know, honestly, Saturn in your first house is gonna be, it's gonna be great. You're just not gonna feel as expressive because there's hard work that you have to do first. Saturn rules your 11th and 12th houses, the houses of networks, friendships, and then the house of loss, isolation, and divine intervention is going to be in your first house. So those energies are coming into your first house. You're going to have a change, and you're going to be solidifying your wishes and gains and who you associate with. You're going to just transform physically. You might get serious about your physical health, your regimen as well. You're going to be caring more about humanity and your outlook on humanity, as well as what you contribute to it. Okay, there's going to be a lot of relationship strain because it's going to be aspecting your 7th house. Right? It's going to be looking at your 7th house. So serious approach to relationships, people who have similar ideologies or lifestyles as well. And it's going to be aspecting your 10th house via the 10th. And then Jupiter is going to be in your 4th house of mental happiness and peace. So if you lock in, right? And make sure you're having long-lasting relationships and partnerships that are beneficial, long-lasting commitments, either to knowledge, education, your job, whatever, you lock in. It's something that's long-term. Then that 10th house is going to feel secure, and then Jupiter is going to give you more opportunities for your career and your legacy because Jupiter is going to be looking at that 10th house as well. You might want to settle abroad. You might want to move to a different country because of this influence in your 4th house from Jupiter and Saturn being in your 1st house, and it's in Pisces. You're like, okay, like let me spread my wings. Let me go. I want to break away from this current anchor that I have with my family and go do something else for myself. And it's going to be aspecting your 3rd house. So that third aspect it's going to be aspecting your 3rd house of courage, schematics. You're going to, if you lock in and you commit to something, you're going to be learning a different skill. You're going to be having a different way of expressing yourself. And what you lock in with is, it has to be something that changes your routine and gives you a set routine because it's Virgo energy. So focus on expression and utilizing your knowledge, not just having knowledge just to have it. Focus on utilizing it. What are you doing with that knowledge? Who are you helping? Servitude, remember, servitude. By the end of this transit, you're gonna be so strict with yourself and you're gonna feel more solid and confident in your career. Because with Rahu being in your 1st house, there could have been a lot of confusion, lots of deception, lots of things coming up and down, like you're not sure. But now you're gonna feel a little bit more solid in your path by the end of this transit. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a reality check in relationships and career and who you associate with and what you do to escape yourself. Anything 12th house related, bedroom pleasures, who you allow in your sacred space, who you like, is it easy to get to know you? Does everybody have access and things like that? That Pisces energy is gonna be locked. You're gonna feel very no nonsense. You're not gonna feel, it might even feel like kind of sad. You know, you might go through things that are sad and dark times because of things related to your past or behaviors. So you're gonna have to do that remedy, that therapy, and get that higher knowledge so you can expand yourself. It's gonna be hard because you guys like to be free, but Saturn's gonna be locking you in. So you'll be restricted for some time. But if you keep that servitude mindset, everything else will blossom. So Aries, the project. So Saturn is like our big project, right? What the big project is, 2.5 years, right? Two years, that's a project. Then you let it out. You've sculpted something. You've gotten a picture. So Aries, your project is entering a flow state. Aries, y'all love control. But y'all like to be able to get up and do what you want to do when you have the energy for it. And then you go and then you're driving, you're pushing gas hard. You're like, no, I'm gonna do it. You're going. That's Mars, right? That's your energy. You're like, I have to go. This is what I'm doing. I'm committed. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna achieve. I'm gonna conquer. Yes. Saturn's gonna be transiting your 12th house, okay? And it rules your 10th and 11th. Your 10th house of career, what you're known for, that ambition that you have driving for yourself. Where your chart lord exalts, your legacy, what you're known for, 11th house of groups, networks, gains, wishes, even your desires. So what's gonna happen with Saturn transiting you're the ruler of your 10th and 11th house transiting your 12th house. What you want to be known for and what you want in your life is going to change. Now you kind of don't want that same thing you were just pushing gas for a long time. You're pushing gas for something, you're like, actually, let me calm down. Let me change this. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe through that pushing gas, I've developed something else. I've found something else worth pursuing. Friendship circles surrounding spirituality or long distance relationships can come about. There's going to be a lot of financial and self-worth focus because Saturn's going to be third aspecting on your second house of possession, and then it's going to be 10th house. It's going to be aspecting your 9th house via 10th aspect, and then Jupiter is going to be in your third, also giving energy to that 9th house. And the thing about the 9th house is the 9th house is of your highest fortune. This is the most fortunate house in astrology, the 9th house. Like, ooh, like you're living, you're enjoying, you're abundant, you're free because of your conviction, because of your adventure, your path, right? So that's a huge focus on you, is like seeing yourself and being and trying to manifest this highest good for yourself. So less self-sabotaging. That inner saboteur in your 12th house is gonna, Saturn there is not gonna let you self-sabotage anything. You're gonna be pushing gas towards something else. Like you just might pump your brakes here. You're like, oh, I was gonna go here, but I'm gonna stop. And now I'm gonna push gas over here. Something more spiritually empowering, something more that'll help separate you, something more fun and abundant and freeing, because the world is changing. So now you're changing with the world instead of feeling like you need to do this practical or superficial things. Higher education becomes a focus, and travel. You want to simply enjoy life more. You're tired of all this pressure, okay? You want to enjoy life a little bit more. Taurus, your desires are the project. That project where you're going to have to serve and be locked in, because Saturn's transiting your 11th house of gains, desires, networks. There's gonna be a lot of karma or harsh lessons with friend groups. Maybe you're not getting in the club. Maybe you get in somewhere, you feel like you're overqualified, but you're starting at the bottom and having to work your way. But the thing is about Taurus ascendant, Saturn's your yoga karaka. This is a planet that is beneficial to you. It's not going to give you such a harsh time as other people. You and Libra is both, the Venusian signs. Why? Because Saturn rules a Kendra and a Trikona in your horoscope. It rules your 9th house and your 10th house. So that energy becomes beneficial to you. You can actually create solid foundations with relationships or people you know. You might be able to get in, start from the bottom, service there, but then there's gains that are gonna come. There's gonna be a lot of expansion that's gonna come. Taurus, you really needed this because Jupiter is gonna be in your 2nd house. Expanding your money, expanding your wallet, your possessions, okay? So it's gonna be aspecting your 1st house, so you're not gonna be as hedonistic and pleasure seeking, because I know Taurus, you can be very, I don't like using this word, but people like to say efficient, but sometimes you can get a little lazy, you know. But Saturn's gonna be aspecting that 1st house, so that lazy and hedonistic approach isn't gonna be there as much, because you're gonna be a little bit more serious because you have to pull up and perform well. K2's gonna be in your 4th, so that's gonna be great for your home life. You're gonna be separated from all these things that used to make you happy and give you fulfillment, and now other things like money, gains, those are the things that are gonna be making you happy. Your desires are the project, so it's gonna be aspecting your 5th house via the 7th aspect. So your creativity, your romance is going to be also a part where you're going to lock in at your expression, your intelligence as well. The 5th house has a lot to do with your personal intelligence. So you're going to be gaining, you know, a lot. You're going to have a disciplined approach, no nonsense approach is coming through. And by the end of this transit, you're going to see a fulfillment of your desires because you just worked really hard. Saturn's going to be aspecting your 8th house via 10th aspect. You're gonna find that the more you lock in with your friend circles, the more intimate relationships you have, the more investments you can have, the more people you have wanting to invest in you, and the more transformation you can have in dealing with your karma and healing your traumas as well, because the 8th house has to do with that. Any fears that you may have, they're gonna come up, but then you're gonna be able to deal with them because you have to. Your fears of leading, your fears of being vulnerable, those are all be things. You're gonna be vulnerable in these spaces that you come into, but it's gonna actually end up being something that gives you prosperity, because Jupiter's gonna be trining your 10th house and your 6th house, and it's gonna be right there in your 2nd house. Lovely, lovely. For Geminis, your legacy is your project. You got Saturn transiting your 10th house. So Saturn transiting the 10th house, okay, great. The 10th house is Saturn's house already. Okay, and Saturn for Gemini ascendants isn't terrible. It rules your 9th house and your 8th house. Okay, the ruler of your 8th and 9th going into your 10th house. So whatever it is you transform, whatever it is you process, all that stuff you eliminate, metamorphosize, because that's what the 8th house is about, rebirth. And then the fortune you go from that lifestyle and perception that you have and that higher self that you view yourself, it's all going to affect your career. So basically your belief in yourself and the people you associate with and the people who have access to you is going to have a direct impact on your career. You're going to be feeling really, really expressive and strong and communicative, and because Jupiter is going to be in your 1st house. Okay, so it'll be eye-opening, giving you a lot of courage to speak. You're going to have 2 planets aspecting your 7th house of accolades and relationships. So Jupiter is making that gaze from your 1st house, so commitments are there, and then Saturn is in your 10th house, aspecting your 7th house, so serious relationships can come. You could become known for being a different thing. Like one day, first you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, I can never see myself doing this, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I can do this. I actually believe I can do this. I'm deserving of this. I'm deserving of these accolades. I'm deserving of this relationship. I'm deserving of this commitment. Saturn transiting your 10th house is gonna, in Pisces, you have to remember it's all Pisces energy. It's gonna feel like everything that you didn't believe or couldn't see clearly about who you want to be and what you think of yourself highly as, it's gonna finally come to form, and people are gonna be seeing it on you. Because the 10th house is how people are seeing you out in public, what you're known for. So they're gonna be like, wait a minute, I'm seeing you now. I'm understanding you now. So Gemini, this is actually pretty cool for you. You're gonna get a lot of solidification in your career, your outlook on life. Honestly, it's gonna be great. Then Jupiter is gonna go into your 2nd house, and then it's gonna go into your Saturn and Pisces is gonna do a number for you if you're already disciplined and you don't self-sabotage. Because with Mercurials, I always have to hold my Mercurials hands. It's because y'all be thinking too much and trying to collect too much data. Stop, get what you need to know, and make sure you're getting that energy and that information, and you're having an output. So you're utilizing that. You're not just getting it just to get it, and then you're confused and you're lost. You know what I'm saying? By the end of this transit, you're gonna feel like people are finally giving you that respect and honor that you feel that you deserve on the inside, because you've been putting in the work. So Cancers, all right, your highest self is your project. Okay, seeing yourself, actually honoring your higher self, right? Okay, your high self is your 9th house. Your fortune is here because it's 11th from the 11th house. So this is where traveling, providing your service, fortune, future, like all of that stuff is over there, and Saturn's gonna be here. That's your 7th lord and your 8th lord going into your 9th. So the commitments you have, the relationships you have, and also the investments that you get from other people, as well as your willingness to transform and cut people off. 8th house has to do with elimination, and elimination of like things in your head and traumas that you store that have been inflicted by other people. That's what's gonna give you the way. If you can become some sort of a teacher as well with Saturn in the 9th. Your 7th, because 7th house has to do with other people, right? Your 7th lord, 8th lord in the 9th house. You're gonna be preaching this perception. This is your highest self. Now you're showing other people the way, okay? This is what is going to be solidified for you. It's aspecting your 11th house by 3rd aspect. So if you put in that work, your network circles will grow, okay? And it's aspecting your 6th house. You're gonna have to have routine by 10th aspect. And then Jupiter's in your 12th house of expenses and loss, but also divine intervention. It's gonna be aspecting your 6th house. Having that routine, having certain habits, clearing out any sort of bad habit that you have in your belief system, right? That's gonna help propel you, okay? Your emotions cannot rule you during this transit because servitude's gonna be a focus. You have to remember, your emotions do rule, you're ruled by the moon, but the thing is, you have to be more cautious with it because it's easy to get off track and go out into a spiral. Just remember your higher purpose. Remember that every single thing you do is going to affect your mood, people who you associate with, your job, your diet, all that stuff. So be careful because you have Cancer ruling your 1st house of self. By the end of this transit, you're going to be equipped with an authority over your life and reach the heights you want to reach, the destinations that you want to go to. Because if you do your 6th house and 11th house themes, choose to connect, choose to be out there, you're gonna see everything start to grow, and those vines of those fruits will start to grow in your career and also in your fortune, what you're known for, your lifestyle as well. Saturn's going to be aspecting your third house of knowledge, so you're going to get serious about your expression. K2 over there has made you feel like you haven't had anything really in order, like everything's just kind of going with the flow. You've kind of been headless in that area. But Shani coming into your ninth house aspecting your third, it's going to be like you got to lock in on what you know, your schematics, the management of your life, and really get everything together. If you got to learn a new course, got to learn a new course. It's going to be hard. You can get that certification, level up. Okay, that's going to help you. Okay, so Leos, your rebirth is the project. You're shedding skin. You're letting go. Leo, you think you know it all sometimes. Leo, you think you got it all figured out. Wait till Saturn comes and gets ya. Right? Saturn's gonna transit your 8th house of transformation, of renaissance, of rebirth, reinvention. There's a different approach to intimacy and routine because Saturn rules your 6th and 7th house. Saturn ruling your 6th and 7th house, you can kind of feel like people are your op. You're a little bit overly cautious of people, but you're gonna be cutting people away for good and cutting anything that you've been holding on to, because Pisces is a water sign, for good with this energy, with this transit. It's gonna be very painful for you because Saturn isn't really friendly to Leo ascendants, or Cancer ascendants either, but it's gonna make you have to transform your outlook on life. Okay, it's aspecting your 10th house via 3rd aspect. So the more the work is gonna be happening in the 8th house, the more you handle your traumas, go to therapy, start seeing things from a bigger point of view, you will get more gains in career as well. It's aspecting your 2nd house via 7th aspect, making sure you're saving money and paying attention to what you eat, okay, and what you drink and what kind of things you are consuming. That's where you're gonna have to lock in, because then it'll help you transform. It'll help you. It'll make all the Saturn stuff feel kind of easy. You're not gonna have so much resistance, okay? Not building up too much tamas or anything in your life, tamasic energy. And then Saturn's gonna be aspecting your 5th house via the 10th aspect. So it's gonna be a very healing time, especially post-May when K2 enters your sign. You're gonna feel relief and you're gonna be able to rely on others. Leo, you guys don't, fire signs in general, y'all don't like to rely on other people. Y'all think you can just stand up. You don't, everything's just gotta be by yourself. You have to make sure you can rely on other people. It's okay to connect with other people. They're gonna be reflecting something back to you. There's gonna be a lot of healing, buried illusions of self, shame, things that are gonna come up. A lot of things that Leos don't even wanna look at because they don't wanna admit it. They don't wanna admit it that they're not perfect. They don't wanna admit it that they have, it's okay. You don't have to be this branded box. That's not what humanity's about. K2's gonna come and it's gonna make you, you're gonna have to get away from all that stuff. And your reality is gonna be shifted, because what you thought was true and perfect, it ain't what it's cracked up to be. So you're recognizing these liabilities in your life and thinking by the end of this transit, you're gonna be even stronger than you think you are now. You're gonna level up and be more accomplished and more respected and honored from this vulnerable time. So yeah, I mean, there's more power, there's more investment, there's more things coming to you, there's more gains, but you have to do the 2nd house. And getting that 5th house aspect, it's like you gotta be careful with your fun. There's certain karmas that coming, like everywhere Saturn's aspecting, there's karmas there. Be careful what you're doing, okay? Okay, so Virgo, commitments are your project, okay? Other people, your relationships are your project. Saturn is transiting your 7th house. This is where your service is gonna be. You might have service to give to people that you don't want to. It's like other people are taking you. This is where you belong. You're like, oh my God, is my life my own? Yes, it is. But this one-on-one or this connection that you're gonna have with this thing every day, it's gonna help transform you, okay? Especially if you, like I was talking to Gemini, that Mercurial energy, y'all are over here doing this, FOMO. I'm out here. No, it's time to lock in to myself, to my future, have a system in place. Yes, you can have fun. Yes, you can do all the things. Is it on your schedule? Is it scheduled in? Because your system needs to be in order and the schedule needs to be had in order for this to fit in. A lot of y'all might even get married. Karmic relationships are gonna come that are gonna force you to lock in with yourself, because you can't be seeking relationship just for the sake of relationship. You can't be seeking partnership just because you want to have a partner. No. Is this beneficial to me? Is this a system that's working? Can I work with this? Or is this draining me? My friend showed me a video the other day of this father that was like showing his daughter or his niece or somebody, like she was standing on a chair and she was like trying to lift somebody up. But it's harder to lift somebody up from down when you're already up. Like you're trying to lift them up, you're gonna fall over. So you have to meet people who are on the same level as you. You know what level you are, you know what kind of standards you have, you gotta honor that. Saturn rules your 5th and 6th house. So you're gonna be taking like this new approach to dating, having fun, and your routine and your work life. Saturn's 3rd aspect to your 9th house. There might be a growth in education. Maybe you start committing to school. Maybe you start being more practical about traveling and seeing your highest potential. Like I said, 9th house has to do with your highest good, if you watch the Cancer one. Saturn's 7th aspect to the 1st house, you're gonna be in a better connection to your effect on other people and what that's worth, okay? Saturn's gonna be having a 10th aspect to your 4th house. You might even move, change location, settle somewhere else, because if you choose to get that education or that certification or anything, that useful knowledge, like I said, Virgo, useful knowledge, then it might allow you to get a different career or a different home life and a different foundation, okay? So you're gonna have all these different commitments. By the end of this transit, you're gonna feel more solidified in self, solidified in your image, solidified in who you wanna be and your health. Overall, it's a good transit, but it's gonna require your energy to loop back from other people back into yourself. It's like a loop for a 7th house aspect. Libra, your health and wellness is your project. You're going to be omified. Saturn's going to be transiting your 6th house. Saturn is your yoga karaka. 6th house of work, employment, conflict, routine, imbalances, health. Your health net era is about to begin. Through spiritual practices, maybe different types of medicine, Ayurvedic healing, because Jupiter is also going to be in your 9th house, okay? And that's going to broaden your horizons and give you opportunity and learning to what's out there. What can you utilize? Saturn rules your 4th and 5th, will be in your 6th. So employment, work, a different change in your work and in the way you see yourself working for other people, or your service is also going to be affected. Saturn loves being, personally for me, I like it when Saturn transits 6th, 8th, and 12th houses, because it actually allows Saturn to do what it wants to do there in its highest form. It's gonna make a 3rd aspect to your 8th house of transformation, other people's resources, and intimacy. So you might feel like obligated or tied up to certain other commitments that you'll see grow, like investments, loans. You might take a loan out or borrow some money to further your education or anything like that. And then it's gonna have 10th aspect to the 3rd house, picking up a new skill, you know, like I said, that education system. You're trying to learn more because your health is very important to you. Your plan for your overall life, taking things to the next level, the difficulty of your life is going to increase. For both you and Taurus, like the difficulty is gonna increase, but the reward is so beautiful, okay? It's gonna make 7th aspect to your 12th house. Lock in with that inner saboteur, that inner critic that says everything needs to be like this and look like this. It's not gonna look like that. So you have no more time to waste. Things aren't gonna look the way they need to look before you begin. You're going to begin, and things will look the way they're gonna look over time, okay? So by the end of this transit, you're gonna have different health habits altogether. You're also gonna have a different work life also too. Just be careful, because don't be forced into something. Like I said in the beginning, start to work on something. Otherwise you're gonna be forced to work on something, okay? 6th house energy, it's things that can be prevented, okay? You can choose not to fight those battles. Choose your battles wisely. Focus on actually applying that healing to yourself, okay? Because then you're gonna be unstoppable. It's gonna prepare you for long-lasting relationships that you so desperately seek, as well as any accolades that you want, like recognition, something of honor coming into your life as well. Scorpio, your intelligence is the project. Your personal politics for yourself, your personal rules, your creativity, what it is you have to do for fun, all these things. That's your project. Saturn transiting your 5th house. The 5th house is of intelligence, games, drama, fun, romance, all those things. So you're maturing on your romantic side. and your creative side. You're getting a little bit more selective with who you associate with, because it's also aspecting, 7th aspecting your 11th house. More selective with what you're doing for fun. Like you can kind of feel like, I don't have time for these things anymore. I need to actually focus on what's going to fulfill me and heal me and transform me and give me power, because Jupiter is going to be in your 8th house. The rules your 3rd and 4th will be in your 5th. So the planning of your life and your mental happiness, all is responding to these 5th house themes, these creative themes, higher things. 5th house is 9th from the 9th house, like this fortune, this bigger picture of yourself. You see yourself in a bigger light. So if you have a business or a side hobby, you're like, okay, I can focus more on here, and this can be something more beneficial for me. It can actually produce something real, but you have to be very selective with your energy. It's aspecting the 7th house via 3rd. So more serious and selective with the people you deal with. More beneficial business deals, more beneficial commitments, more beneficial at work. And it's aspecting your 2nd house via 10th aspect. So you're gonna be a little bit more frugal, having to pay attention to what you consume, what you spend, a lot of home, family responsibilities. Jupiter will be in your 8th house, making things a little bit more hectic with ups and downs and crisis, because 8th house has to do with crisis. So Jupiter might give you a little bit more sudden events that you have to handle. But if you have the right people in your life, you'll be able to handle it pretty well. Locking into who you associate with. By the end of this transit, you're gonna be way more strict on yourself, strict on who has access to you, strict on what you have to offer. I mean, you already are this way, Scorpio. You already are kind of like wary of people, but now it's like a fine cut. It might even be people that you're close with, or you've been close with for a very long time. Like, okay, this is done. Or you might have been living a certain lifestyle that you're just like, this is not who I am, this is not beneficial to me and my mental happiness. Like 3rd house Lord in the 5th, like I need to get a little bit more creative and have a different set of rules and constitution for myself in the way I'm living. Okay, so by the end of this transit, like I said, it's gonna be good. You're gonna be brand new, and no one's gonna mess with you even more, because they're gonna see that you're standing on business. Sagittarius, your peace is the project. Saturn is going to be transiting your 4th house of stability, your anchor, your home. You're going to be feeling like you need to have this stronger connection with God. You might have more responsibilities at home, maybe buying property or moving abroad. You're going to become more stoic. You're not going to be so out there. You're going to be very reserved in the way you express and the way you put yourself out there, because it rules your 2nd and 3rd house. It's in your 4th. And it's going to be aspecting your 6th house via 3rd aspect. So growing towards more healthier routine, holistic routine, adopting a new relationship with health and servitude and picking your battles differently, because your peace is very important for you. Like your peace is going to be the project. You're going to feel like you're going to have a lot of obligations at home. You're going to feel your career is demanding, or maybe you're not getting as much recognition or understanding from higher ups or people you know, or it's just going to be a very karmic time for you where you're going to feel like bunkered down or held down. But there's also a lot of opportunity for relationship, because Jupiter's going to be in your 7th house, giving you opportunities for a relationship, and then Saturn's going to be aspecting your 10th house, which is why I'm saying the serious approach is going to come. Your 1st house of self, you're going to be rebranding yourself. You're going to be creating a new identity for yourself. Some things that you used to find happiness in, you're not going to find happiness in anymore. You might feel like where you're settling now is not as freeing or has much purpose for you, because you want something more healing and compassionate, and something that involves more people, places, and things that you like and enjoy. So that's going to change too. So your peace, like you're going to do whatever it takes to get your peace, because that end goal will be your peace of mind. Be careful with anxiety, okay? Be careful with overthinking, overdoing it. Just find that part in your heart that wants you to make that change, and make sure it's a strong why, and then that's it. Accept it, move on, because by the end of this transit, you're going to feel like a brand new person. You might even get a better relationship or get closer to your partner through this transit, because you're realizing certain things don't matter as much as you put the weight on there for. So that's all shifting. Capricorn, your project is your personal life management, right? Saturn's going to be transiting your 3rd house. This is the house of courage, schematics, plans, management, the way you're going to go about something. That's your third house. This is the way you're going to go about it. Like if someone was like, went up to people and was like, okay, I'm giving all 3 of these people this task to do. That third house is how these people are going to go about it, including their Mars too and their Mercury. You're locking in for school. You're locking in for higher education. This is your chart lord. You're locking in. You're being courageous. You're doing things you never really did before. You're going to see if you can push your boundaries. Because like I said, Pisces is a sign of no boundaries, but you're going to put boundaries to these no boundaries. You're going to make it practical, visceral, real. You're going to be locking in so hard. People are going to be like, what? You're going to be more expressive as well. That 7th aspect to the 9th house, with this locking in, you're gonna be locking into the higher education, getting that certification, getting that class, getting that accolade, getting whatever that is, to where you're graduating into a new life, you're upgrading into a new life because you're managing yourself differently. You're taking a different approach to how you're managing yourself. The third aspect on the 5th house, you're growing in creative and romantic capacities due to this more knowledge being obtained. The more you know, the more you have, and the more you can do with. Right? So 10th aspect to the 12th house is releasing you from that inner saboteur, that skewed and limited view on life. And Jupiter will be transiting the 6th and then your 7th by the end of the year. So when it's transiting your 6th house, you're gonna have a lot of opportunities for work changes, a lot of opportunities for your routine to be changing, because you know Mercury's moving fast, lording the Jupiter. So you're gonna have a lot of different options, but make sure you choose the one that's more practical and in alignment with that lock-in that you did for your 3rd house energy. Make sure it matters for you. Sometimes we see something pearly, we're like, oh my God, that's so beautiful, I should go over there. And then something else comes up and we're like, oh wait, that's good too. And then we end up splitting our reality when we should have just stuck here and devoted. Saturn's all about devotion, servitude. What are you contributing that's benefiting others or yourself? But you have to, it's all through servitude and selflessness. Being humble, being like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and be in this situation that I don't really wanna be in, but eventually, it's gonna help me manage my life better. So that's what this transit is about. By the end of this transit, upgraded life management, you're gonna be able to feel like you're more secure in your path, because then Saturn's gonna enter Kendra. You're gonna be in a different life era for yourself if you do this thing here first, okay? That 3rd aspect on your 5th house is gonna make you more creatively expressive. You're gonna wanna express, you're gonna wanna do your business, you're gonna wanna do bigger things. The 3rd aspect is where you're gonna wanna grow. And the 10th aspect is where it is gonna grow. So that 10th aspect to your 12th can actually release you from a certain life path that you've been on, like you're ending a cycle. So just remember that sacrifice and selflessness will always yield a greater reward if you have that plan out in place, right? So for Aquarius, your project is your natural talent and your resources. Saturn's gonna be right there in your 2nd house. 2nd house supports the 1st house. 2nd house has to do with your possessions, what you have, your money, you know, what you eat, all these things like that. There's a huge focus on your finances. Making money and saving money, it's a more frugal time for sure. How you're using money and other people's resources. So like I said about that 7th house aspect, you're gonna have to lock in to your investments, your loans, other people's resources. You're gonna have to rely on other people to merge onto that so you can feel more sustained. Okay, that's where you have to lock in at. Because Saturn is gonna be aspecting your 4th house via 3rd aspect. So if you can lock in with those things, then your mental peace will grow. You'll feel more stable. You'll feel more secure in yourself and your decisions. Because Ketu's gonna be in your 7th house and Rahu's gonna be in your 1st house. It can be a little bit confusing in your life path. You could be like, what the heck? When the nodes are in the 1st and 7th house aspect, what am I committing to? Am I committing to the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I getting result? Is this gonna be something tangible or practical or something I can hold on to for the future? That's what the nodes are gonna be doing. And then Jupiter's gonna be in your 5th house. So anything creative can bring you a lot of opportunities. It's gonna be trining the node, so that's definitely something you should look out for. But just remembering you're gonna have to rely on other people on loans, or your money is gonna be affected for a little bit. So be a little bit more frugal. Make sure you're saving. Make sure you're not overindulging too much during this period, because things can just pop up randomly and you're just gonna have to jump, take the opportunity, shoot. Saturn's gonna be aspecting your 11th house via 10th aspect. So through locking in all of these things that I just mentioned, you know, using your other people's resources, using other people's, and then using your natural talents and stuff to help propel you forward. You're giving service to your natural talents. Saturn transiting your 2nd. You're giving service to what you already have to yourself. Second house is what you have, your voice, everything that comes natural to you. That's second house. You're giving service to there, then that 11th house is going to be able to grow, and the vines and the fruits and everything is going to start to grow. And then also you're going to have a new sense of stability in your life path too, because it's that third aspect to your fourth. New happiness, different things are going to be making you happy than what used to make you happy. Whenever there's any fourth house connection with Saturn, by the end of this transit, you're going to feel like a flow of new money, or your value system is going to be changing what it is that you want to be supported for on your life path. So because the second house, you know, directly influences your first house. Make sure you're just paying attention to money, like you're budgeting, you're being very meticulous with your spending and your eating and whatever it is you consume, because your time can be wasted. Your time is very precious to you right now. So staying on track with that is very beneficial, because by the time, if you do this now, because Jupiter's going to enter your sixth, you're going to have to put in a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of things you have to tend to with Jupiter coming into your sixth house by the end of the year. But you lock into those things that you naturally have, what you have now, making it work with what you got, as they say, then this transit is going to be great for you. You're going to find that your dreams can become a reality if you honor yourself at every stage. So yep, that concludes my Saturn and Pisces transit video. It's definitely going to be a healing time for a lot of people, because that's what Saturn does. Saturn cages us in and forces us to deal with the themes of that sign. So the word is servitude. If you're trying to serve, if your forefront is servitude, I don't care if you're trying to serve your talent, I don't care if you're trying to serve a drink, servitude, then these things, the Saturn themes won't be bad. Okay? Just remember that, sacrifice. This world has made us all feel lazy and hedonistic and everything's at a blink of a finger. No. You have to tap in and be like, okay, I'm using my time to give something to other people. Even me with this video, I'm using my time to give some knowledge and wisdom that I have from studying astrology for years to other people. So yeah, I hope you all liked it. Please subscribe to my channel, like and comment on this video, and stay tuned for more. I'll see you around. Luna Giselle out.